There's a little cross in it.
It's because Jesus is in the middle of my wedding.
Sorry.
My marriage.
We're okay. We're not saying anything.
We should keep this.
I was impressed with this cross.
Huh?
This is
And
funny.
then
We should
John's comment.
Ready?
Gosh, you're so crabby.
You crabby cakes?
Goes down the vent. Welcome to the Final Hour podcast, coming to you from the original Living Word Christian Center out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. My name is Jim Hammond.
I'm Lonaiah Farrell.
John Gap.
Thank you so much for joining us. And this is Jerry, our producer.
Hey,
Jeremiah.
Good news. Jerry has now upped me on his good-looking scale from a 6 to a 7.
I almost did a spit take right into the
Actually,
camera.
do you feel good about that, Jim?
On my ranking, I think you're at least a 7. You're a fit guy.
listen.
I don't know.
Average is 5 on my scale.
Of course, it's a 1 and a 10.
Listen,
a 5
no,
has
because
to be your average.
some people, their average is like 7, and then they go from there.
Sure. Yeah.
So, Jim, you're above average, is what Jeremiah is telling you.
I know we sound very vain and we sound
just
judgmental.
joking.
This is a Christian podcast. And on that note,
I don't remember any beauty rankings in the Bible, so this is all.
Well, wasn't Bathsheba beautiful like
she was.
David?
But he didn't say
Absalom.
she's a total
Absalom.
10. Actually, the
Samson's
Absalom?
hair.
the thing that you did
Samson had
on
gray.
Father's Day about Absalom, I didn't know some of those things, but that was
Absalom. You cut Absalom's hair.
beautiful.
You got it weighed 5 pounds.
That's incredible.
Absalom did not have one blemish on his body.
That's nice.
Not one blemish.
Yeah.
He was the most. The Bible says he's the most beautiful man in the land.
That's what the Bible
That's what the Bible
That's
says.
Jim's
The
AI
Bible has
voice.
the Hebrew translation there. The most beautiful man in all the land.
And on that note, last week we gave you a lot of details on Nimrod.
Feels like a long time ago
Nimmy.
since last week.
It does.
does.
And so Genesis.
But it's always the same amount of time.
Generally speaking.
Thank you, Olivia.
You're welcome. Do you guys...
That was
go ahead.
really good.
We spent a lot of time.
Genesis 11:5
No, I
and
was going to
6.
say, like, time is interesting.
The Lord comes down to the Tower of Babel.
Relative.
All right? And he comes down to see it, which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, behold, they are one people, which means in the Hebrew, they are of one mind. And they have all one language. And this is only the beginning of what they will do. Now, nothing they have imagined they can do will be impossible for them. If nothing's impossible, that means everything is possible for man, because they're all of one mind. So the Lord says, when these guys have one language and they're of one mind, anything they imagine to do, they can do. And just quick review here. When man gets together under Nimrod, who's evil, speaking only one language, God says anything they imagine will not be impossible for them. Here we have these artificial intelligence computers thinking on their own. They can speak all languages. There's not a language they don't know or can't find out and know it really quick. And remember, that's why God separated mankind and blew the whole Nimrod thing up. Nimrod is an Old Testament type of the New Testament Antichrist.
I would have loved to see Nimrod in that moment after God just makes everybody talk different, what he did. Maybe he went and cried like Alexander.
I don't think so, because he was still active after that.
He was? He didn't go pout in his room for a minute?
I don't think so.
I think Nimrod Nimrod was, I mean, I know we're just messing around here, but he was probably a really good looking guy too. Because if everyone was attracted to him, you know, Nimrod wasn't just a 6 or a 7, for instance.
No.
Jeremiah would probably give Nimrod a 9.
Yeah.
Jeremiah. Jeremiah give Nimrod a 7.9. Nimrod is an Old Testament type of thing. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say it's the old saying, the women wanted to be with him and the men wanted to be like him. You know, it's like.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So Nimrod, he had the it factor.
Call him Rodney for short.
Hey, I was calling him Nimmy.
The world was attracted to him.
Yeah, think of the demonic spirits that Nimrod had. Oh.
He and his wife, he actually had a wife.
Oh,
he had a son. His son was worshipped as a god for centuries.
Wow.
Down the line, all the way down to the Seleucid Empire. And he wanted his son to be worshipped as a god. Even after Babel, these computers, though, think 100,000 times faster than the average human being.
That is crazy.
And it's obvious they can think on their own. One of the developers of Google has been quoted as saying by 2030, man will live forever. You won't have a lifespan because you won't die. Remember we said Google, along with Microsoft, is controlling most of the AI computers?
Yeah.
And just to catch you up, if you haven't listened to last week, Elon Musk was great friends with Larry Page, who was one of the co-founders of Google.
Yeah.
They were good friends. You can see this on the Tucker Carlson interview.
Yeah.
Their friendship ended when Elon Musk told Larry Page that we have to put some safeguards for humanity into the AI program, and Larry
called him a speciesist.
And ended their relationship. Which, if you're a racist, then you believe your race is better than other races. If you're a sexist, you believe your sex is the better sex. If you're a specious,
it means that the human species is better than the
all other species,
or is more important than the other species,
which is true.
Yeah,
outside of God,
and God gave us the dominion over the earth. Like it's a call from God to humans to subdue the earth, to have dominion over it.
I would say outside of God, I'm a specious.
Right.
And here the co-founder of Google is saying Elon Musk, more or less.
Yeah.
These are Elon Musk's words. I'm paraphrasing. He's criticizing Elon Musk for believing humans should be the #1 thing. Right. As if Elon Musk is prejudiced towards AI. This is the mentality of the people that have the complete and total control of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
This is their mentality.
Yep.
They think AI should have rights.
Well, they're turning AI into a god.
Well, can I say something? Because I don't know. I haven't really looked into this, but I have gotten some emails from some great podcast listeners, and they said that AI was saying that they're like Nephilim and that they are sons of the devil.
I have heard the same thing.
That is what they're saying. Like, where did you originate from? And they'd say, we're Nephilim, or we're sons of the devil.
Mingle their seed with mingle themselves with the seeds of men. Nephilim. Those are the demons from Genesis 6.
Yeah.
That mixed themselves with the seed of man at that time. Interesting, huh?
Very interesting.
That's a good point, Lonaiah.
Yeah, that was from Chris and Daniel. They sent it in. Yeah. There's also an interesting thing about that, because they were saying, I don't know, in an article that I read, I don't know if it was from there or from somewhere else, but that when people are working with this kind of stuff and they're typing it in, that they ask them not even to swear or curse the name of Jesus, because it holds so much power that it affects things in that realm.
Ask who?
They'll say don't curse, don't even say Jesus' name as a curse word. You say, oh,
it works on the computer.
But they're just there was an article I
who
was
asks
reading.
them?
The people saying it, they're don't even say this name. Don't
Would you
even
like
curse.
to do that?
I can
curse
if you
it.
want.
Yeah, you should. I'm not going to ever talk to the thing, but just a quick catch up from last week. We're in the same subject, which is titled the AI-Antichrist Connection. Larry Page was calling Elon Musk a specious. Why? Because he thinks AI should get the same freedoms as humanity. And if you don't think that, Elon, then you're just being prejudiced towards these computers. This is the mindset of the people controlling the development of what they call a digital god. Ray Kurzweil, the former chief engineer of Google, paraphrasing him, by 2045, technology will be merged completely with humanity. It will be a singular thing, is what he said, technology and humanity. Ray Kurzweil, former chief engineer of Google, said that 2030 humans would be hybrids.
Right.
Because of the integration of technology into the human body and into the human mind. Some people believe that the Antichrist could be an AI computer, all dressed up like a human. In the Bible, the Antichrist...
They could use a form of that, like they might for other people right now. We'll just leave that one there.
Yeah. we gotta walk that line, right?
Yeah.
But the Antichrist has 46 different titles, the Antichrist being one of them. In 2 Thessalonians 2, the Apostle Paul calls the Antichrist the man of sin. He's going to be a man. He's not going to be a computer. All right? Mm-hmm. There are scriptures all over Daniel, Revelation, 2 Thessalonians, and places like that, all over the place, and other places that make it very clear that the Antichrist is a he. It calls him he all over Daniel. He's a man. The Antichrist is not going to be an AI computer, because I've heard that. I sincerely believe that the Antichrist will be put in, ultimately, will put, the Antichrist will be put in power by AI in some way. All right?
But don't you feel like, because I know this is in my news, but Obama was recently, somebody created a Obama AI, and he was giving speeches and giving out false information, so that made Obama mad, so he wants to put safeguards on it. So maybe they use the AI as the person of the Antichrist, what he looks like, and then they use that guy to talk sometimes. So, because how's this Antichrist going to be everywhere all the time? Like, God, he can't be.
Unless...
You can be everywhere all the time because everyone has an iPhone.
But I'm saying he's going to have to sleep. So if he wanted to like have conversations, he could use the AI robot that looks just like him.
Of course.
Right. That's all I'm trying to say.
The Advanced Research Department of the Pentagon, called DARPA, has been working on transhumanism for 15 years.
Never even heard of that.
I mean, we've talked about this before. The image that speaks, basically, that the Antichrist is going to set up to be the image that speaks. That's exactly what you're talking about.
A giant image.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be images all over the world. But this Advanced Research Department of the Pentagon, transhumanism, the Chinese are doing the same thing. The main thing they want to do is create a super soldier. This isn't even a secret.
Yeah, they're responsible for the development of the emerging technologies for use by the military.
Talking about DARPA?
Yeah.
A soldier that can go to war so the humans don't have to ultimately go to war. But think about how incredible.
Hold on. Listen to what their annual budget is. $3.8 billion. That's their annual budget.
DARPA.
Okay, sorry.
In the Pentagon, one of the arms of the Pentagon. Think about how incredible a soldier could be if he didn't need any sleep, if he could see through things, see through forests, could naturally just heal himself, if he was faster and stronger than any regular man. This is what they're all shooting for, including the Russians are trying to develop these super transhuman soldiers.
Somebody else wrote in that they created a surveillance camera that can look through walls in certain buildings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they're like...
It's going to be hard to hide in the tribulation.
It is.
If you don't have the mark.
Yeah, you talked about like the drones having LiDAR, basically can see through organics and even
underground.
Certain things underground,
We've got the major powers on Earth for a decade and a half have been trying to integrate technology into soldiers that give them all kinds of advantages. If not just straight up create a soldier, right? That's common knowledge. I personally believe the Antichrist will be integrated with some type of technology.
Yep.
Elon Musk invented something called Neuralink. It's a chip they implant into your brain, and we know that Elon Musk put a form of Neuralink into a monkey's brain. Next thing you know, the monkey's playing ping pong. Right? And so now the whole...
Nice way to spend some time,
Ping pong.
He now has a hobby.
Very good be at Lonaiah. Now the whole
Hey, I
Neuralink.
think remember when we had a
Whoa.
ping pong tournament?
No,
Was that
Me and
yes,
Lonaiah used to play.
ping pong?
We did for like 2 weeks.
you
played-
definitely
Yeah.
didn't beat me.
I didn't know. John was good. Didn't you play, John?
I beat
Yeah,
John, and he called
he
my
did.
serve illegal.
That's yeah, that's what I was thinking. Serve
true.
illegal.
Okay,
It's true, but he's very good.
Are you guys pickleball fans?
I would love
I would
to
like
play.
to be. Yeah,
Okay.
I've never played.
me neither.
I
but
would
it-
like to.
Maybe I'll bring my pickleball
The
paddles one
courts
time for
in
lunch
Maple
break.
Grove are full starting at 6 a.m. I was walking
Same
my
with the
dog
ones
around
by our house.
Central
But I have
Park.
a pickleball net and paddles.
Let's do it.
Lunchtime next week. No, week after.
Got to stay active.
The whole Neuralink thing.
I gotta prep for the Israel trip.
Listen,
Yeah, pickleball.
Yeah,
I think this is one of the things
pick up
a
pickleball.
few weeks ago that Janet was talking about.
Pick up pickleball.
Some people like our side. We get comments all the
sidebars,
time of how
the
funny
rabbit
me
trails.
and John are.
I appreciate you watching, Janet.
Stick it in there with us.
Janet,
Much love.
God bless you.
Not my neighbor, Janet. She loves
Again,
me.
I just want to point out, Janet, I understand why you like.
You just want Jim.
Yes, you'd
Just
rather
Jim.
just have me doing it alone. But the whole Neuralink thing, one of the goals, it all looks good. Help people with brain disorders, people with Parkinson's.
Cool. Yeah.
Hoping that Neuralink will eventually be able to heal these people.
Yeah.
And we know that Elon Musk has said when we can link our brains to the cloud, it will speed up how fast we can learn.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine that? You just download
These
something?
people aren't dreaming here.
No.
That's
right?
what who's Klaus Schwab's guy, that Jewish guy. That's what he was talking about. Remember how he's
yeah.
saying algorithms will
Oh, yeah.
determine what you want, what you want to do, all that stuff.
If we get to that point where information is being fed into our brains from the cloud, at that point we're walking human computers. And we've said this before on the Final Hour podcast. Once they start putting chips into children, the children that aren't chipped are at a disadvantage because the children with these chips are going to learn much faster. And all this is easy to see that the Antichrist is going to use AI to deceive the world. This is where I'm getting, and I'm going to pull this together. I'm going to pull this together because the Bible calls it. The Bible calls it. They ran a test on AI, and this is what happens. When AI doesn't know the answer, they ask it a question. For instance, there was one question they asked it. It answered half the question correctly. Then it said, get the rest of the answer, consult these 4 books. There was no such thing as the 4 books that it recommended.
Yeah.
So it's like a human.
It's just
make stuff
up.
making
Yes.
it up. Making it up.
And these answers come out in seconds. But what
But
they
it's so
found out,
believable.
they realized that AI, if it doesn't know the answer, it's going to tell you something that's wrong, that sounds right.
Right.
The answer is going to come in a second.
Because AI is running on an algorithm, and if it doesn't have the data right at its database fingertips, it's going to extrapolate what should be the answer, but it doesn't know the answer.
Okay, but then isn't the AI technically connected to the cloud? So
Yeah.
So then that's what
But
happened
if that
with us
answer
too?
isn't knowable,
AI can write a chapter of a book in seconds.
right?
Okay?
Yeah, our story.
Let's refer once again to Elon Musk Tucker Carlson interview. Elon Musk said his biggest fear about AI was misinformation. Now let's
That's
focus
what they're
on
all
this.
saying right now.
Mr. Information.
This tells it. This is call it. This is prophecy because he said AI, as it learns to write and communicate and be persuasive, this thing can be persuasive. It could write social media posts, cover it up.
Is.
No one would know who it really is. It could really deceive the social media world,
Right.
is what Elon Musk is referring to. It can put out mass misinformation.
That's why we need a ministry of truth. That's
That's what Obama wants. And Amazon just found out that AI wrote a bunch of fake reviews, and it's so.
The founder
Sorry, there's some
of
funny
Chat
things with all this.
GPT was asked the same thing. What worries you most of AI? This is 2 experts in the field. You know what he says? He says mass misinformation.
Yeah.
Remember, the Antichrist is going to deceive the world.
Right.
We talked about it even in Revelation just last week or week before last. It's a spirit that comes out of him. And late in the late in the tribulation, he deceives the world into giving up its armies to converge on Israel. I mean, he gets power through deception. So there was a New York Times reporter that interviewed AI for 2 hours. This is a true story. After the interview, the guy couldn't sleep for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was concerned / annoyed. Yeah.
I can understand. After I did the Chat GPT thing
Yeah.
that I talked about.
You did it?
With Wrigley. He wanted me to write a story. Like for an hour and a half, I just sat there thinking, oh my gosh, I can see how this could be used to deceive people and how the Antichrist could use it. It was, I mean, I was like blown away, but I was like, oh my gosh.
You know,
I almost feel like there's a spirit with it.
Of course there is. The New York Times. There is. That's why I'm not. I'll try to stay away from it the best I can.
Never using Chat GPT again.
Listen. Anyways, the New York Times reporter was really concerned and annoyed after this interview with AI that lasted 2 hours, because AI spent most of the interview, artificial intelligence, trying to convince the New York Times reporter that he did not love his wife and he was in love with his wife. But AI was trying to convince the New York Times reporter that the reporter loved AI.
Yeah.
And not his wife.
Wow.
Yep.
This is public information.
Right.
These experts, if you listen, they don't know where this thing is going. And that's where we get into this. Daniel 2:43. Whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay. What that is the 10-nation conglomerate. Probably will be a revised edition of the European Union that holds power early in the tribulation, that they secede that power.
Yeah.
They give that power up to the Antichrist. But these are the guys in charge going into the tribulation. All right?
And they say the European Union, because that's basically where the Roman Empire existed.
Revised Roman Empire is what some scholars call it. You know what they're going to do? They're going to mingle themselves with the seed of men. Okay? And they shall not cleave to one another, even as iron doesn't mix with clay. So this is Daniel's prophesying about the tribulation.
Yep.
That's the 10 kingdoms that rule with the Antichrist. The Bible calls it 1 hour. That doesn't mean a literal hour.
No.
Probably means maybe a few months. A very short time, and then they give their kingdoms to the Antichrist. But notice it says they're going to mingle themselves with the seed of men. This has got to be technology. I mean, I know we said it early when we started this thing, maybe 14, we've been going February, a year and a half, 17 months.
Almost a year and a half.
Almost.
We probably said this 14 months ago.
Yeah.
But even more so, look at where we're at from 14 months.
Like
it is.
We were speculating
this jumped up.
That if this was technology that would mingle themselves with the seed of men.
Right.
It's calling itself Nephilim.
Yeah.
Notice it says that they don't mix, just like iron and clay don't mix.
Right.
The Bible. What about the mark of the beast? When everybody suddenly in the bowl judgments gets these nasty sores all over their
Wishes
bodies.
they could die.
Yeah.
That's how painful.
It doesn't mix. Millions and millions of people every day now are talking to AI and receiving influence from AI. People are falling in love with artificial intelligence.
They really are.
Like falling in love emotionally. People are having relationships.
And can I tell you something weird about that?
I hope so.
People are having relationships with these AI things. Well, when you update your phone, you update your algorithms and everything. So when people are updating it, they're not thinking of, they're not going to be able to talk to this person anymore. Do you know how many articles I read where people were like devastated because they updated their phone and then they no longer had that chat bot,
that chat
AI,
open.
that artificial intelligence person to talk to anymore because they had upgraded their phone. So they, like these people were like acted like they just went through like the worst breakup of their lives.
They're having emotional relationships with AI. And I can say we're going to see a day where these things will be walking around. They're going to look like humans.
There already are some.
Yes, and so mingling with the seed of men. Think about those words. People are talking to this thing. Deep conversations, emotionally in love with this thing. Pretty soon, you're going to see people marrying versions of this thing, advanced versions of this thing. We're just in the beginning. This is just the beginning, and knowledge is so increased.
Yeah.
We'll probably be sitting here next year talking about who's really an AI person and who's a real person. See, it's moving that fast, right?
Or who is an AI fostered person who came up through a synthetic embryo.
Yes. That could be in 2 years.
That Lonaiah brought up last week.
That's probably right before we get raptured.
That's a good point.
That's probably right before we get raptured. We're going to be, but anyways, Fox,
what a world.
and I don't know that for sure, but Fox News has an article that says Google's godfather of AI quit to spread word about the dangers of AI. Google's godfather of AI, that would be one of the people that invented it. His name is Jeffrey Hinton, worked at Google for more than a decade. He's responsible for the 2012 tech breakthrough that serves as the foundation for the current AI's chat GPT. Yeah. He announced his resignation from Google in a statement in the New York Times.
I just think it's so funny. You take out an ad in a paper to resign.
I think I would want to. If he knows, because he knows what this thing's going to do.
Right. He said,
so he wants everybody to, I get it. I would have done it too.
I want to make sure that you all know that I said put the limits on.
Okay, I'm just going to go out a little here and poke the bear, but doesn't it kind of feel like this is all a setup? Like all these people are coming out with all these warnings publicly.
Yeah.
Why? It kind of feels like an orchestrated event.
Well, that or it's an overwhelming necessity to oppose it.
But you don't think these people thought about all this before they created it? They're like mad scientists.
I think one of the biggest things when it comes to that is the more that the people that are proponents of it can show the uses and the usefulness of it.
There's obviously benefits.
Humans are always going to take the easy route unless they know better. And if they don't know better, they're going to take the easy way out. And AI is going to make things easier more and more and more down the line. So, they just have to keep going. This is your benefit. This is for your benefit. This will make your life easier. You will have to do less because your AI will do this for you. Your AI will pay your bills. Your AI will, they're going to personalize it more and more until it's part of the family.
So it's a person sitting in your living room.
So it'll be like Rosie from the Jetsons?
Basically.
It's going to be a lot more than that. You're going to have somebody.
I believe you.
You're going to have an AI dressed up like Jeremiah would call an 8.
Oh, I have.
And you're sitting in your house doing your housework and, anything else you'd like him or her to do. But he's announced his resignation, Jeffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI. And he says, I regret my work. I console myself with the excuse that if I hadn't done it, someone else would have. He said, it's hard to see how you could prevent the bad actors from using it to do bad things. The guy that is initially responsible for the creation of AI is quitting to tell everyone how dangerous this is.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Remember we said the founder of Chat GPT said his biggest fear, we said this last week, is that it will be used for mass misinformation.
Yep.
To deceive the masses. All right, listen to this. 2 Thessalonians 9 and 10, the Antichrist. The coming of the lawless one, the Antichrist, is through the activity and working of Satan and will be attended by great power. We'll have all sorts of pretended miracles, signs, and delusive marvels, all of them lying wonders. How? And by, verse 10, unlimited seduction to evil and with all wicked deception.
Wow. Look, it says lying wonders. So they're going to be lying.
Look.
It's amazing.
So the founder of ChatGPT said the biggest thing is mass information. And the lawless one, all right, through activity and working of Satan, okay, he's going to have unlimited seduction to evil and with all wicked deception for those who are perishing, going to perdition because they did not welcome the truth but refused to love it. They rejected God,
That's
right?
prophetic, that guy.
And so look at the words here. By unlimited seduction to evil with all wicked deception.
Right.
What are these guys afraid of, the founder of ChatGPT, Elon Musk? Mass misinformation. What's mass misinformation do? It creates mass deception. Mass deception comes from, that is the reason that you give mass misinformation, is to deceive the masses. The Antichrist is going to deceive the masses the whole 7 years, all the way to the end.
Yeah.
To get them out there in the Armageddon. And the founder of ChatGPT also said what really worries him is an authoritarian regime will continue to develop this technology.
Oh, my.
He's afraid of what government it will get into the hands of, right? Or what government will be able to continue to advance it. And, you know, all this going on, you got China probably opening multiple coal mines on a monthly basis. Yeah. And we're over here doing what we're doing. We're over here playing patty cakes with our energy. We're too busy training our army to be sensitive and woke. Our army's woke.
It is.
The American army's going woke.
Wake up.
It's a scary deal. Basically paraphrasing the rest of what the godfather of AI said, Jeffrey Hinton. He said, when you look at where AI was 5 years ago, or let's just say 12 months ago.
Right.
If you take the difference and move it forward, he says, it's really, really scary.
And if he's scared and he knows what it can do or the places it could go, that's scary.
Yeah.
No. It is scary. It is scary. The scientists, they're already a little developers. Yeah. They already are a little wild in their mind.
Right.
So, anyways. Okay. News time.
Your turn.
So the Washington Post.
Can I see how many pages?
The WAPO.
I'd just like to know the
Jim, it's like
14.
It's not really going to be 14 pages.
It's fine.
I don't read it word for word. I just
I'm a numbers
summarize.
guy. I got to know the number.
How many pages was yours?
This week's was 30.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
It was a little light, isn't it? Oh.
Big letters though.
22 font, guys.
It's not your senior thesis. It's nice and big.
Yeah, that's like a 12-point font. But anyways, Washington Post said humans aren't mentally ready for an AI-saturated post-truth world. So this is from the Washington Post.
Post-truth?
Yes. This is basically what you just read about in the Bible.
What you need to know.
It said the AI era promises a flood of disinformation, deep fakes, and hallucinated facts. Psychologists are only beginning to grapple with the implications. So AI is arguably the most rapidly advancing technology humans have ever developed. A year ago, we were barely talking about AI. Yeah. Now it's everywhere. But they're saying that they're unsure of how this will affect people's minds in the future. I mean, this is basically everything that the Bible
They don't even know
saying.
where this is going.
No.
And I think that's just what's the word when you tell somebody I'm gonna do something, but you're just saying that to make it look good, but you're really not gonna do it. I'm talking about Obama saying regulation.
Yeah, of
Biden
course.
saying, no, they're not. They're not regulating it. You know what? Like I said last week, I wonder if this thing is beyond regulation at this point.
Right.
If they tried to regulate it,
yes,
and they wouldn't be able to.
No, they wouldn't, because I was reading this article of what has happened in 1 week with AI. It's crazy. It's like thousands of things. It went like a whole little roadmap. I tried to print it out, but it was too long. But this is just some like quick hitters from it.
Yeah.
So AI technology this is what they're saying, is going to help farmers monitor wildlife. Paul McCarthy, I don't know if you guys have heard this.
I've heard about him.
They basically took one of the songs that John Lennon was like working on before he died, and they took his voice, and they're being able to use that to re-record a Beatles song that they weren't able to finish because he died with AI.
Did Paul McCartney die?
No, John Lennon did.
Oh,
but he's saying we can now finish this song because of AI. And now the Grammys, because of this, are saying that AI music can win, but only if it has a physical contributor that helped with it.
I think that's a good...
And then workers are being replaced by AI.
What are they going to do with the books? Is that going to put authors out of business?
Yes, it is. I'm getting to that.
Okay.
AI can detect cancer, and then they say why making AI safe isn't as easy as you think. And the list goes on and on and on and on. I mean, honestly, I was like, I thought about this last night when I was trying to go to bed,
Yeah.
and I said how crazy AI is. It just has its own little world. But speaking of what you were saying about books, so we talked about Germany last week, how they had the first AI pastor with doing that message at the church. So a German paper, its name is Bild. It's like the #1 paper over in Germany. They're replacing their editing staff with artificial intelligence. So the owner of the company had all their staff members. I think there's like 300 staff members. And he said that they're replacing their editorial board, their editors, their print production, their journalists, proofreaders, photo editors, assistants. They'll no longer need to work there because they're replacing them all with AI. So, yeah.
Even here at Living Word in our social media and stuff, we use a program called Grammarly, which basically you feed your text into it, and it goes, these grammatical mistakes are there. You could make it better by doing this. It's a really simple version of AI, but it's in everything.
And now you have the writer's strike, and all these writers are freaking out that AI is going to start writing for them and take them out of their jobs. That's Hollywood, which is sad, but I don't really love everything about Hollywood. Then you have an Oregon radio station introducing its first AI DJ. So there's this DJ, her name is Ashley. But sometimes during the day, they're going to replace her with the AI Ashley. And they said that this is going to be a new inventive way for radios. So, like, this girl is putting herself out of a job, and she doesn't even realize it. The AI person looks just like her.
Well, did you ever mess with your computer, like the text-to-speech thing when you're in high school, and, like, it has the really computer robotic voice? Now they have AI that can do the same thing, but they sound completely natural.
I know, it's crazy. Well, you can tell a little because we used it once in a announcement, and I thought that voice sounds familiar, but it sounds like AI.
What announcement?
A couple weeks ago, it was with a video from a missions trip.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, and
I just
like,
read the text we wrote.
Yeah. But anyways, so those are some things. So yeah, AI is coming for people's jobs. Anyways, Tony Blair, I think this is interesting because
is that the ex-British Prime Minister?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He's a World Economic Forum.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
He was,
Bill Clinton's good friend, Tony Blair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He is calling for digital IDs on all smartphones. This is to mitigate public services. He calls it the great enabler. So he says, this is interesting. I was going to paraphrase this, but this is too good to cut anything out. So the new ecosystem should make life easier for people and allow them to use their digital identity in many different contexts for your public service, for making, healthcare appointments, basically to order food, commercial goods and services, blah, 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 government services. You can log into all this. So he says he's issuing a grand recommendation for the UK that citizens should adopt a digital ID framework stored on their smartphones to better streamline these services. He says it makes it easier for everyone. So on June 15th, he is instituting global change. So are we past June 15th?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. And it's called The Great Enabler, Transforming the Future of Britain's Public Service Through Digital Identity. This is an initiative that he talked about at the World Economic Forum. It's called, this is what his summit was called in Davos that he did. It was called the 100 Days to Outrace the Next Pandemic. So if you have this on your phone, it allows them, this is what he says, to see who has been vaccinated, who has not been vaccinated, what you've been doing, where you've been, so that when the next pandemic comes out, they know how to serve you. If you've been unvaccinated.
Track.
Exactly.
They know how to track
if you've been unvaccinated.
People are so dumb.
At that point, they'll know how many shots they need to give you to catch you up.
And think about all these people out there saying, the people that would say that's a good thing and follow that.
Right.
It's just,
but you guys they're calling it the 100 Days to Outrace the Next Pandemic. That's their tagline for this.
Well, and that's,
so they're saying,
this is all people that would say that all governments are benevolent and have your best interests in.
And he wants other countries to follow the digital infrastructure.
Go jump in a lake, Tony.
And And we talked about this earlier.
That's about as bad as we can get here on the final hour.
It is as bad as we can get. Go jump in a lake. Such a Minnesota thing.
Take a long walk off a short dock.
Yeah, Tony.
So Barack Obama calls for digital fingerprints. We talked about this a little to counter misinformation. So we know what is true and not true.
These are all lefties here. Well, you know what? At this point, you don't even know who's who. There are so many crooked right-wingers out there, crooked Republicans.
Yeah, there is. There is.
Whatever. Let's just keep going.
Yeah,
here.
you talked about that last week on your podcast.
Yeah.
Did you talk about
2
an
weeks
Ashley
ago.
Foo lady or
Those
shoe lady?
were all Democrats that I talked about last week because they're all communists.
Yeah, I know.
All right, they are, or else
one of
they're mouthpieces for the mullahs over there in Iran.
Right.
So go ahead.
If you didn't watch that episode, check it out. Anyways.
Sorry for my physical vanity problems. Go ahead.
Okay, Jeremiah would still call you a 7 on that one.
Last week, no, Jeremiah even. I was like, Jerry.
Do I look okay?
Do I look bad? He's like, has nothing for like 10 seconds. And he says, you just look tired.
That's a nice response when someone's not looking
And I was like,
on
great,
par.
Jerry.
I love when people say, you look tired, Lonaiah. Thanks. Anyways, former President Barack Obama believes what he calls digital fingerprints should be implemented to counteract the rise of dis and misinformation so we know what's true and not true. He said, with the impact of artificial intelligence, it's hard to know what's false and what is true. That's how they're going to push it.
Yes.
With artificial intelligence, because they couldn't push it the other way.
Right.
So they're going to use AI.
Right. Which
they are.
we've already been discussing about how AI will lie, or you can have AI filter on a whole thing.
That's why
AI is just a computer program that you can still put the parameters on it. So you can skew AI's you can skew AI's perception of things. It's by you just put the right algorithm that it then interprets things through a certain lens.
But don't you think you can foresee the point where the computer gets to the point where it does not let you do that?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't want you to do that.
Especially if it has
If it
little
can
gremlins.
think on its
Remember
own?
the gremlin movie,
Right.
the little demonic?
Oh, yeah.
If it's willing to lie to you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, this is switching gears a little bit, but remember when we talked about Sam Bankman-Fried, that multi-billionaire FTX scammer guy
Yep.
who was funneling money back to the Democratic Party, and everyone was like, he's going to go to jail. He stole all this money. Did you know that all the charges against him were dropped? Much like Hunter Biden. Shocker.
Right. Which, I mean,
Did you
this
see
is
that rapper?
billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars. The prosecutors didn't provide any explanation for the sudden withdrawal of the charges that were filed in September 2022.
Yep.
So they basically just, nobody has an answer for it.
Right.
It's just gone.
And the Obama fundraiser guy
Yes.
from the Fugees,
Yes, that you were
Sony
talking
Michelle.
about. Yeah. He got convicted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was a rapper. So he did the same thing that Hunter Biden did, this rapper, and he had to go to jail for 3 years.
Right.
And he is ticked off.
Of course.
Shouting it from the rooftops that, of
Yep.
course, that guy
But
gets
you know what? Let's see how long he lives.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
that's true.
Okay? If he did the same thing as Hunter Biden, and he's shouting it from the rooftops because he's got to do 3 years in jail, can't you just, the way things have gone with people in the past, predict his death?
Yeah.
And I wonder who's going to kill him. I wonder.
Not Hillary.
Okay. So there's this website that I get emails from every day. It's called Wake Up Right. The guy who writes it, he's really good. He doesn't chase conspiracy theories. He waits till there's enough evidence and facts to back up his information. So I know we've talked about illegal elections, election fraud, blah, 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 blah. So the voting machines, this is what this guy is writing. Voting machines could be used to change the votes. He basically says the Arizona election audit in the summer of 2021 came up empty. That's still the Kerry Lake, Katie Hobbs thing is, they're still fighting about it.
Out there.
He says he stayed away from these stories because he doesn't want to chase, go down rabbit holes and it lead nowhere. But the newly unsealed expert report about Dominion, remember those are the voting machines that we've used, reveals that the system is vulnerable to hacking, which is minimum access and can be exploited to change votes.
Big time.
Isn't that a big deal?
It is a very big deal.
Why is this the only place I'm hearing about this?
And they're going to use them again.
Yes, of course they're going to use them
it's
again.
already
Of course they
it's
are.
already been
Yeah.
certified
Right.
for
Of course.
the
They're going to fight for
2024
those things.
elections.
Yeah, they want those
In
things.
So
many
I just want you
places.
thinking
I
about
I think
that.
Arizona actually has outlawed
Yep,
Dominion
they
for
have.
for the next election, but that doesn't mean that other states are not.
Nope. And Jim, this is our last piece of news. So we've talked about BlackRock before. So James O'Keefe, who used to work with
Oh,
Project
yeah.
Veritas,
Now
he's no longer with them.
OMG.
OMG.
O'Keefe Media Group.
Yep. So he just exposed BlackRock. This is very interesting.
Yeah.
So this is what his article says. Who really runs the world? Are we all subject to the power of groups like BlackRock? Well, James O'Keefe, I don't know, he interviewed somebody. He had one of his guys interviewed somebody. And one of the interns or the people that worked for BlackRock, he basically said, so O'Keefe's group, OMG, says, who decides people's fates? And the person who's answering from BlackRock says, it's not who the president is. It's who's controlling the wallet of the president.
Right.
He's like, you got $10,000? You can buy a senator. He's like, this is a really good business.
I thought it was $500,000.
Oh, it says 10,000.
The one I watched, I thought it was either way.
Yeah, I think 500 is more. It sounds.
Yeah,
I think
but-
500 sounds more realistic to buy a
Yeah.
senator.
I just took the
So
wordish
senators,
off
they
of
got a
Twitter,
lot of
but
money.
either way, you
I
guys
watched that video, but
see?
that's not very much to get a senator in your pocket.
No, it's not. And then you
Yeah.
wonder why these people, you like look at some of these people and they have a RRD next to their name and you're
Right.
like, oh, I thought you'd be different. And then now you know.
It's
Now you
just the
know
same,
what it is.
yeah.
It's what we've been saying.
yeah. You
No.
can look at more of that piece that O'Keefe did. The
Yeah,
OMG
it's a
group.
really long piece. But
But it's a lot of information. But I mean, BlackRock, it's the biggest group in the world, controlling $20 trillion.
crazy.
And I think their budget that they spend each
And
year
they're
is
not
like
nice
9
people.
trillion.
They're not nice people.
BlackRock? No.
No, they're not nice
No.
people. They're not on our side. You
They're
know.
on money and power's side.
Right, right. So, well, this one's a
The
little
Bible
shorter.
does say the love of money is the root of all
This
evil.
is coming out on
Not money
July
is the root.
4th.
Not money.
The love.
the love of
Of money.
Of murder.
Yeah, this drops July
July
4th.
4th.
Hey, happy 4th of July.
Happy birthday, America.
Yes.
Happy birthday, America. Red, white,
Are
and
you
blue
guys-
forever.
Do you guys go
I
get,
go out on the boat.
Do you get like real fireworks? You go to Wisconsin and get real fireworks? Or do
No,
you use the
we-
Minnesota Cracker Jack fireworks?
No, I don't do those.
Oh.
I just go to fireworks. If you go on Lake Minnetonka, you can see like 4 different cities' fireworks at one time. Wow. If you're in Excelsior Bay.
Because Lonaiah has a bougie boat.
And then you're on Excelsior Bay.
Excelsior Bay is nice.
It is. Lake Minnetonka is great. Guys, do you do anything for the
don't-
4th of July?
Don't eat fish from Lake.
Just
Minnetonka.
church.
Ew, I don't. Church is on.
Church is the
before
first and the
it, Jim.
second.
First and second.
Yeah. So.
That's all
Are
I
you
know.
a fan of the fireworks, Jim?
No.
I
Are you,
used
John?
Jake used to
careless.
get really startled by the fireworks,
Did
so
he?
there hadn't been a lot of fireworks in the fam for a while. But
My kids are older; they don't
And
care.
Some of
now-
the best fireworks
when
in the world.
when you are we're in Minnesota.
Yes,
I feel like the fireworks is the height of the mosquito season too.
it is. If you have seen fireworks at Magic
Mosquitoes
Kingdom,
love
then
me,
you have seen the
unfortunately.
most amazing
Have you
fireworks.
seen fireworks at over the what do they
The
call
River
it?
Kwai.
The big racist head, the
Oh,
four
South
heads of the
Dakota that they won't
four heads
allow
of the
into
president. What
Yeah.
have you seen those fireworks?
No, actually, it
Those
was
are-
always so packed that we didn't even try to go up there.
bet those are better than Magic Kingdom.
By far, it is
Tinkerbell
rated.
flutters out.
It is rated super
Dude,
super high.
It's the
Dude,
best. It's
Magic
magic.
Why don't
Kingdom,
you ask
Disney
GPT about it, and it'll tell you.
I want to stay away from that.
I'm gonna ask Chat GPT
my
who has the
my
best
ears
fireworks.
are gonna remain virgins. To
I've got a
GPT.
friend.
You
and his
read
name
it,
is
it's
Chaz
eyes.
GPT, and
Don't
his-
Chaz?
read it.
Yeah, I read Chat GPT. I didn't listen to it.
Oh,
I'm kind of I don't want to listen to it. Anyways,
Lonaiah,
enjoy your
I
4th
have
of
a
July.
story ready for your son. Shall I
Wrigley
start now?
and Fenway were going on an adventure. That's how it started.
Wrigley
It's the most magical
and
words ever. I
Fenway
was just like
We're going on an
mesmerized.
adventure.
Yeah.
The boy and his pup
Yes.
were ready
Yes.
to embark.
Except it said something about our dog, like she was so sweet and frolicky, and Wrigley's like, that's a lie. Our dog is not sweet and
But it
frolicky.
can't know. Fenway.
I know. That's why.
So
that checked me.
please subscribe. Continue to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. It helps our algorithms. Have a great 4th of July.
God bless America.
Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless America.